What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And today we are going to be going over my budget Xtreme 35 Xtreme Recon suspension setup that I finally got to test yesterday, as you guys can see, and talk about what I think is now the best budget suspension setup for your Xtreme Recon Xtreme 35 package Jeep. Now, I've got an older video with my 24 V6 Rubicon with Xtreme 35 package, which I basically almost had this setup, but I had the shock extensions on. I've now fixed and figured out all of that to get more flex, more up travel, more all the above, and have everything work really darn well. And the only reason I know it works really darn well is because I just finished this setup and we got to go off-road yesterday, and it worked so good. No bottoming out shocks, no topping out shocks. It worked really well and flexed incredibly well. So I'm going to get this thing all cleaned up, go power wash this thing off so we can actually see the suspension and see what I'm talking about, what parts and pieces, where we've moved things to get this thing to work. Now, currently, I wheel this on 37s, and this setup works so perfect on 37s, but this would also work really well on the factory 35s, and we can talk about what you'd need to do or not do on factory 35s for this suspension setup. So, like I said, I'm going to get this thing power washed off so we can actually see the suspension and not just be looking at brown dirt, because it was rather soupy out there yesterday. So I'm going to go clean it up. We'll get this thing back in the garage, get a wheel or tire off so we can actually talk about the front and rear and how to make your Jeep work considerably better off-road. Okay, so starting up front here, I will kind of go through previous setup versus now this setup. Okay, so up front here, we do have the factory rear Xtreme 35 or Xtreme Recon, whatever package you've got. They're the same package, they're just called different things depending on what year. That is the factory rear shock. Moved to the front there, direct bolt on, the bushings are the same diameter, everything is identical top and bottom. That shock directly goes on to the front of the JL. Now, this shock is 3 inches longer fully extended, but it is also 2 inches longer fully collapsed, and I was kind of worried that I was going to be bottoming out the shock before hitting the bump stop. But after wheeling yesterday and kind of watching how this thing was working off-road and listening to it, I believe I am basically compressing the bump stop almost at the same time we are fully bottoming out the shock. But this setup here is considerably better than what I was running on my V6, which was the factory front shock with a 2-inch Terraflex shock extension. With this setup here, the shock was absolutely bottoming out and banging long before, or considerably before, the bump stop was fully compressed. So it was a lot of knocking in the front with that shock bottoming out. So this factory rear shock up front works outrageously well. Now, for my spring spacer, you guys probably can't see it. We have a 1-inch Terraflex spring spacer installed above the factory spring, the factory isolator. We, like I said, just have that 1-inch Terraflex spacer. Real quick on our control arms, these are the Mopar 2-inch lift control arms. They give you another degree and a half of caster, which are absolutely needed on the Xtreme Recon or Xtreme 35 package, or heck, any Jeep for that matter. It helps to make them drive a little bit nicer, throwing those Mopar 2-inch lift lower control arms on there, like a 1/4 inch longer. And again, that's rotating the bottom of the axle forward and giving us a little bit more caster. Those, like we said, are pretty cheap. Now, last but not least, I did swap out from the Xtreme Recon Xtreme 35 package sway bar end link to the Mopar 2-inch lift sway bar end link, because these are, an inch or so longer. There we go. Like I said, these are about an inch or so longer than these. So, as you can see sitting here, we are at ride height because I've got the jack holding the axle up. So this is how this thing would be sitting on the ground, and our sway bar angle is basically perfect. We've got a slight degree angle upward here on our sway bar, and that's what you want. The only thing you're worried about with too short of sway bar links is when this thing is out flexing, at least with a Rubicon with the sway bar disconnected, if that sway bar swings down and basically inverts itself and flips forward. If your links are too short, that can absolutely limit your suspension travel and potentially cause that sway bar to invert. So with these 2-inch lift links, again, looking at how the thing was maxed out flexing, it is absolutely perfect. And like I said, with these rear shocks, you are getting 3 more inches of suspension down travel, and at least with this 1-inch spring spacer, full down travel, I was not unseating springs. I'm not picking up springs off the trails. I'm not reseating them. They are absolutely perfect. We flexed this thing all day long yesterday, and our spring is still perfectly where it needs to be, top and bottom, with no issue. Also, real quick on bump stops, this has no additional bump stop length, bump stop pad, bump stop extension added from the factory equipped crazy long Xtreme 35 Xtreme Recon package bump stop tower. These things are way too long from the factory for the 35s, but what I have found running 37s, they're basically perfectly bump stopped for 37s. I don't know how well you guys can see. Yeah, up here in the wheel well, you can see we've just barely got some rub marks here, rub marks here, rub marks here at the very top of the wheel well where that 37-inch tire is traveling upwards on full up travel and just barely rubbing our inner fender. So that tells me we've got basically perfect bump stop setup for those 37s, because again, at the very top of our travel, we are just starting to let the inner fender know that we've got a 37 in here getting rowdy. So with the 35s, going to clear perfectly fine. With the 37s, again, going to clear perfectly fine. These things are actually a very tall 37. They're like 36.8 inches tall sitting here on the ground. So they are very tall and very true to size versus a BFG KO2, which is barely a 35.5 with the 37. So again, keep that in mind. Nothing needs to be done in the front unless you are going to be over 37-inch tall tires on this thing, because it works really well. So let me move to the back, get some wheels off so we can get under the rear of this thing and see what I've done. Okay, now onto the rear suspension setup. Now there's going to be kind of 2 options depending on if you're running the factory 35s or if you're running 37s like myself. So let's say you're planning on just running the factory 35s or 35s in general. This is the factory Xtreme Recon Xtreme 35 1-inch rear bump stop. And like I said, if you're planning on running 35s, you can leave this in place and don't have to do anything with it. But if, like me, you are planning on running 37s, you're going to need to remove the 1-inch bump stop extension and add a 2-inch bump stop extension. If you guys can see down here, this is the Mopar 2-inch lift bump stop extension. Now, it does not need to be the Mopar 2-inch lift one. Any 2-inch bump stop extension would work in this case. But like I said, with the 37s, with the 2-inch bump stop extension, when the tire travels upward into the wheel well, we still are just barely touching the inner fender, which basically tells me we are getting as much up travel as we can without ripping our fender flares, or excuse me, our inner fenders out. So any more up travel and we would just be burying the tires into the wheel wells. Like I said, you guys can hopefully maybe see we are all scuffed here. And here at the front of the wheel well, we've got a bunch of scratching and scuffing. Again, not really doing any damage. We're just getting as much up travel of the suspension as possible without causing damage. So if we're only on 35s, you can leave that and have no issue, or 37s. And like I said, my 37s are a very tall 37. You're going to want to throw that 2-inch bump stop extension on there. Now for shocks, I am running the Metal Cloak long travel rock sport shocks. These are the 30-inch extended length long travel shocks from Metal Cloak, and these things are gaining you 3 inches of down travel in the suspension, and these are actually shorter overall length when collapsed than the factory. So we definitely have enough up travel, and our down travel is being increased by 3 inches. For spring spacers, I am running a, going to be really hard to see, we've got a TerraFlex 1-inch spacer. They're actually 2 half-inch spacers stacked together and bolted together, but that's where we're getting our 1 inch of additional height here in the rear. And I guess I never really explained why we are wanting to get another inch of height. Yes, to clear the 37s, but to gain a little bit more travel or space between the bump stops and the bump stop pads, especially in the front. That's where we have very little factory up travel on an Xtreme Recon Xtreme 35 Jeep. So gaining that 1 inch gets you a little bit more suspension travel or movement or play before we are already up into the bump stop. So that's why we've added the 1 inch. You could add more if you want. You could add 1.5 inches, whatever you kind of choose. Since I run the factory 35-inch tall tires on the street, I didn't really want to crank this thing up really too much higher, or those 35s would start to look pretty small pretty quick. Now, last but not least, our sway bar end links. I am still running the factory Xtreme 35 Xtreme Recon rear sway bar links, but with the added down travel of these long travel shocks, as the suspension travels down, the sway bar would travel and hit the shock body. So you've got a couple of options. You could buy extended link sway bar end links, or for $0, what I did was just relocate the sway bar end link hole. We've got a really long tab here, and the factory location is right here at the very bottom. I was just able to go up a whole nother inch, re-drill a hole, and now have perfectly linked sway bar end links, because when this thing is at full droop, the sway bar is still clearing the shock body. Now here is looking over at the other side. You can see our 1 inch, higher mounting hole that we drilled and then put the factory sway bar link in. So again, for $0, you can fix the rear sway bar links and still have the nice factory style rubber booted ball joint style up here with the nice OE rubber here at the bottom. So guys, that is my setup, and I've hopefully been kind of throwing cool pictures here of this thing flexing, whether it was at the shop or, like I said, as we went off-road yesterday and actually got to put this thing to the test, and man, it worked so darn good. My previous setup on my V6, I was bottoming out the shocks there in the front with my shock extensions, and it wasn't ideal. This setup was very, very good. Again, for a budget setup, you're only buying 2 shocks in the rear, front lower control arms, a couple of spring spacers, and some front sway bar links, and it's done. So man, I'm very, very happy. Again, if you want to buy the crazy 3-inch, long arm lift, absolutely knock yourself out. If you're just wanting to spend a little bit of money and make your suspension work exponentially better and have way more travel off-road, man, I'm not sure of a better, more affordable setup than what we've got going here. Now, we'll continue testing this thing, and maybe I'll end up deciding we need a little bit more travel in the front or what have you, but as this thing worked yesterday, I cannot complain about anything. So guys, I will try to have everything linked down in the description. All of the parts and pieces and this, that, and the other. Everything should be, whether it be Mopar, TerraFlex, or Metal Cloak there in the back. It's all just very easily click on online and order. Now, the only thing kind of weird is my rear spring spacer setup. I will probably link the video for my V6 suspension walkthrough, because that kind of talked about how I built the rear spring spacers there in the back. So that's what we've got going, and that's what seems to be working really, really well. So Like I said, you want a little bit more travel, and the ride is still very, very OEM. This thing doesn't feel any harsher, softer, bouncier, rougher than it did from the factory, because we've still got factory springs, which are the same spring rate. And up front, at least, we've got the factory shocks. The rear, with those metal cloak long travel shocks, I don't notice any more or less dampening. The thing seems to ride and drive completely stock. So it's a very good setup if you're happy with your current ride, but just want a little bit more suspension performance. So guys, thanks for coming out into the driveway with me and letting me talk you through what I think the best budget Xtreme Recon Xtreme 35 suspension lift or setup is. And guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.